Shoot you in the ropes there. Big shoulder tackle, drop down, leapfrog. Look there, man. You guys are
Yeah,
on fire here. Oh, and the big press slam. You loved having Sting
yeah,
press slam you.
yeah. Well, he was good, boy. See, he lost it for a second. It's so strong, he recovered.
Man, you don't see him do a lot of head scissor takeovers, but there they are, and a big hip toss. Man, this is just nonstop action so far, and that's the reason Meltzer loved it. He would say Ric Flair and Sting went to a 45-minute draw in the NWA title match. This
Mhm.
was certainly a match of the year candidate. The match started out slow paced, but the heat never died, and it was never dull. Flair did a great job of selling like bear hugs and headlocks early on. Actually, there's no wrestler in the business who could have put on the performance Flair did in this match. He was so good, I almost thought Sting was going to stand there in awe of him. Sting held up his end, although Flair was certainly doing the carrying. I also want to make mention of Jim Ross, who did a tremendous job with Tony Schiavone on the commentary the whole show, but especially in the first 25 minutes when things were so spaced. He sold the match and sold the intensity and the importance of the match. We had the impression we were watching a classic before it actually turned into a legit classic. The commentary piece, Rick, I don't think gets enough attention. And I've
No,
heard
it
some
doesn't.
folks say that you guys are making the music, but they provide the lyrics to the song. And I think JR was at his best in this era. Just my opinion.
Oh, yeah, as I said earlier, those guys were really their chemistry was great, and Jim has always been, when he's on, man, as you know, the announcers can make you or break you, even today at AEW or WWE, and that's one of the reasons I'm such a big fan of who's the kid we were talking about earlier that just came on. It does the color on SmackDown.
Oh yeah, Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee is fabulous. He brings so much energy to it.
Yes. What's the rule of thumb to match structure, Rick? There's a lot of folks who are listening to this who've never obviously been in a wrestling match, but you know, is there a formula that you like to abide by?
Well, my formula is to get the guy over. Depending on the length of time you have in the match, is to get the guy you're working with over so strong that when you finally cut him off, the people will feel sorry for him. But you have to cut him off with a cheap shot. It can't be something where you're just overpowering him. Those kind of things, I've never thought that was cool. Does that make sense? If I'm gonna take Undertaker down, I got to do it really, with a low blow or somebody interferes.
Crafty.
How else do I get him down? Does that make sense?
Yep.
I used to tell Mark, I used to tell Andre, anybody like Big Show, if you guys would just fall to your knees, so we're almost the same height, we can really have a match. Just sell from your knees, where I can do logical stuff. You know what I mean? Jump on them and all that. Because otherwise, it's so much bigger. It doesn't make sense. Look at
Right.
Eddie. Eddie thinks he's going home with the penthouse girl. I don't think so.
Boy, this is a different era. You could just see, when you look out in the crowd,
Yeah,
obviously this is pre cell phones. This is pre, camera phones and pre really signs. There's not a ton of signs here, but everybody's paying attention. Everybody knows how significant this is, especially in Greensboro.
yeah. Well,
But even,
you notice that when he sells for me too, he really sells.
yeah, he does. JJ's earning his money tonight, man.
Yeah, but you notice, I tell you, the fact that he's always on.
Doing a great job selling the back right now after you've thrown him into the guardrail, now into the buckles.
Yeah, he really knew how to sell for a guy that big. I mean, Sting is just plain as handsome and pretty as anybody could be right here. You know what I mean? But this is where you learn. This is where he's Ricky Steamboat and Ricky Morton and selling that to it.
Did you have a favorite set of spots that you like to do with Sting? We saw the press slam a lot, but
Yeah,
are there
drop down, leapfrog, drop down, leapfrog.
yeah.
That was my favorite. I would just call it first spot of the match. I say, let me have a warm up bump, then we'll go.
This knee drop here, this is a Harley Race special, is it not?
Yeah, I just changed it around. Harley always just did it standing over you.
Yeah.
So I just backed up, but that's clearly I learned it from Harley.
What's the magic of having the best knee drop possible?
Not to hurt the guy. You can tear his forehead off if you're not careful.
Is that just trial and error? Just tons of practice to get that done? I mean, you've
Yeah.
told us before
Well,
that.
plus the back me, I wore a knee pad, so wasn't going to happen that often. But like, some guys like Dusty and that would cut themselves when I did it. I'd pull the knee pad up, right, and hit them with my shin bone,
Yeah.
which in reality would open anybody up, right? So everybody had a different way of doing it, but just them trusting me. But see, one thing about Sting too, Sting let me hit him. And I mean, I really would punch and knock the shit out of him, chopping him like steamboat. He stayed open, always stayed open.
Well, let's do some questions. By the way, if you want to ask a question here on the program, you can do it over on Twitter at To Be the Man Pod. It's at To Be the Man Pod on Twitter. Adam wants to know, what were the feelings backstage concerning the first clash going up against WrestleMania? Was there any additional pressure to put on a great match knowing that fact?
No, I think we just look at it as a challenge. I mean, we one thing that you as you've done through this podcast, Connor, and you pointed out, we worked every day.
Yeah.
It's like you said, we didn't go home after this. I got drunk and went to work the next day in Greenville. We did the same thing. I don't know what Steve did back then. I think he might have had a drink or two back then, but the show was on the road, man. We didn't have days off. That was unheard of.
Drew Landry wants to know, you said in other media Sting was your toughest opponent. Was this the match you knew Sting was your toughest opponent, or was there another?
See, look at the athletic ability there.
That crossbody all the way across the ring was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
I don't think he was my toughest opponent, but he was one of the most fun to be with. By toughest, I mean, when I tell people I'm usually I feel like they're talking about Harley Race.
Right.
They're two different words, but Steve is certainly one of the most talented. And see, it's if a guy isn't with you, if he wasn't with me trying to lift him up for that move to get him that high over my body,
That's
it
impossible.
actually looked like I hurt his knee.
Yeah.
That's athleticism on his part.
Yeah.
A lot of guys, well, if they don't feel comfortable, if they don't know where they're going. Because I've suplexed guys, got them like that and dropped them on their back, but they don't trust you. But he trusted me through everything.
When you were setting this figure 4 up and you drug him over and then you did it a second time, I thought, man, you're going to be so close. You're going to hit your head on the ropes, and you didn't. Duh. It's because you're going to set it up to get this extra leverage here. You damn dirty cheater. You.
Yeah, I know it. I was horrible. This is where Tommy Young was so good.
Yes.
I'd be talking to Tommy Young right now. See, he's listening to me.
Right.
See, here's the other thing I would tell these guys. This is real important. This is the kind of stuff that makes wrestling good guys or good wrestlers are bad. If I'm going to hold the rope, if I don't hold the rope and he doesn't sell like I'm holding the rope, it doesn't make any difference.
Right.
Okay, he can sell regular right there, but when I grab the rope, watch him. Watch what he does. He really goes crazy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This is where you need a good referee. Because if I'm grabbing the rope and he stays in the same position, it doesn't mean shit. This is where Steve would really learn at a young age how to sell this stuff. If you're going to put your foot in the ropes, try to hold the guy's shoulder down. You know what I mean? That's where the referee and the timing comes in. So important. See, here
It's
goes.
going to be a great referee.
This is the first time I told him this. It to drag me back in the middle of the ring. See, now I'm panicking because I can't get to it.
This is great stuff, man. Oh, and now he's going to reverse it. Everybody knows what's coming. And now he's got it. Classic stuff, man.